Hello, sir.
It's you! I remember you. You haven't changed that much. Still got the same smile.
My goodness.
Welcome to the 4th Street Photo Gallery.
Oh, I'm so excited.
I have always wondered about you and your sister. I say, I know they really want these photographs.
I have always wondered who you were. My whole life. And nobody knew. And Ellis didn't tell me. And then he was gone.
He was gone.
And he left
Welcome.
so many secrets.
I have images set up for you.
Oh, how long have you been here, Mr.
I've been here too long. Have a seat.
Wow.
This is my work.
Fantastic.
This is my workspace.
Oh my goodness, and you have everything that
I have everything I need to stay in the system. I've been fortunate, so I like taking advantage of being fortunate. So I work 24/7. Yeah.
And tell me the story. I want to hear the story.
Oh, well, you want to come out here?
Yeah.
Have a seat. It's a rather simple tale. In 1970, I was approached by a friend who said he wanted to start a magazine. And if I was interested in being the photographer for the magazine. I said, wow, great. I'm in. I got a job working as a photographer for a magazine. All my other friends had gotten jobs back during the equal opportunity time. A close friend of mine named Don Hogan Charles, he got a job working for the Times. He was in competition with another friend of mine. I forget his name. His last name was Martin. And then after that, they needed a photographer for the Daily News, so they got Clarence Davis. So I said, oh, missed out on all those opportunities. And meantime, everybody was getting their program together. You know, different organizations and the blank thing. All of a sudden, it came into focus. All of a sudden, then I was just started my own organization in 1972. 1971, things kind of like just broke open, and I realized I had to do something serious. So as I'm moving all through all these different phases, 1972, magazine, it's beginning to happen, and I'm going to be on the front lines of things happening. And there I was. And I've been fortunate enough to always be at the cutting edge of things happening without really understanding, okay, what am I doing kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because flip back from 59 when I first got into photography, everything all of a sudden happened at the same time. I got a job working for the district attorney's office. I had found a new girlfriend, and I was on my way to her house to take a trip down to Washington Square Park, where I met her. And on the way there, I went by an armory on 141st Street and 5th Avenue. They was just constructing the Harlem Drive. And I seen all these black men in front of this armory. So I just started taking pictures of all this stuff. I felt I had legitimacy to take pictures of anything at that point in time. It turned out that was the first conference dealing with Islam and Christianity. And they were going to have a major thing in Washington, D.C. So I got those images. Everybody else, there was other photographers there, but somehow or another, what lasts becomes history. So my images have lasted, so my images of that event have become history. Then as time went along, I got various little pieces of important things. And then in 1971, 72, that's when I got a chance to really get inside to photograph real things. So they say, well, I need you to photograph soul and what's it, Black Journal. So anytime I got a story, I went all the way with this stuff. I didn't just do one picture. I got involved in the person's life and followed them around. So with Ellis, he was, I was all over the place with Ellis. He said, well, I'm going to be such and such a place. Okay, I'll meet you there. So he said, I'm going over to my brother's house. I need you to come over and, do something, have some food. So I said, fine, I said, the West Side, boy, I almost lived over here. Understand Miles Davis somewhere in this area here. So I come upstairs there and boom, there's this interesting place, these interesting people. And so I just started taking photographs of everything. And then, everything quiet down and sat over and start talking, and then you and your sister just overwhelmed it, one with your father's laughing. And so they were just having this conversation. So I was trying to get these real interesting, one image I was really working towards. I wanted to get the two of you being absolutely focused on him reading the book to you. And I had to really work that when I finally got to say, this is the essence of who he really is. He's a very personable person. At the same time, photographing him on the set, it was, it didn't change. He was that all of the time. So that was the amazing part about him. Wherever he went, he was always this, cool, whatever. So that's the history of me recording Mr. Ellis. Then I found out, I started working at the Schomburg, and found out he was director there. And I was so busy doing everything else, I didn't have a chance to knock on the door and say, remember me? And then next thing you know, he was gone. I missed these opportunities, but in the process, I got those most important things that he probably wanted me to get. So I worked with a lot of people who basically took me to the very edge. It's like there's a song that Bob Dylan sings about, people want to be documented at a very important time because they realize that that one person is the one who will basically hold on to that information and put it back out there again. So there are various people that I photographed in those areas of their life. They knew something that I didn't know, and they wanted me to take photographs of them. So that's how all of that came together. Then this goes away. Years go by, time go by, and all kinds of sacrifices have to be made in order to preserve that information. So I made all those sacrifices to preserve that information, knowing very well it's important stuff. But nobody out there who comes and goes knows what I have here in terms of that treasure trove of information of all these people. And I always tell people I take document and I turn it into art in order to preserve it. So I give it a new life. So there's images all around here. Basically, it's relating to a piece of history, dealing with something that somebody else knows something about. So all these images are links to more important things. And within my mind is those links with people who come here to look, or I put stuff online. I just put stuff online. I don't know what's going to happen, but I need to put it, as the saying goes, I need to store that stuff in the cloud just in case I'm wiped out. It's there. Pieces of all this history. So at that key moment, I just go through my stuff, scan it in, put it as real files, put JPEG files in my social network computer, and upload them into Facebook. That image came up. I put it on Facebook. Dahoud seen it. Dahoud said, oh, another Ellis picture. So what? Then all of a sudden the links come together in his head and it frightens him. you got to mash your button and mash everybody's button. Like, wow, this is like, and that's how all of that happened. Welcome to the 4th Street Photo Gallery. What took you so long?
I don't know. I lived here for years. I was up and down this street.
Really?
I lived in New York until 1997.
You didn't know.
And I didn't know you were here.
That's the way it's supposed to be. Excuse me.